Is it the sunshine or the catastrophes, flash floods of the traffic? Something about Los Angeles makes music, makes magic. The muse of Los Angeles makes artists get active. Behold the lore of LA authors, behold! Who's rocking the populace in the postmodern metropolis? LA authors. Starting with Charles Fletcher Lummis, sunshine looms large in literary Los Angeles. From the myth of Ramona, Pueblos, California ranchos, orange groves, and the Arroyo Seco, expatriate artists of the 1890s brought the first sunshine wave of LA authors, and the boosters blew the trumpets on the Golden State's landscape. Sun for 300 days, a cure for old age. Find the fountain of youth in Los Angeles. Hyped up pamphlets let the world know. The land of the sunshine, the new Eden. It was manifest destiny, but it wasn't heaven for everybody. Besides the boosters, there was debunkers, socialists, expatriate poets, leftist screenwriters, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Louis Ademick, and Jake Zeitland. Nathaniel West, he was one of the best. The city in flames in the day of the locust, and the underground intelligentsia of artists and authors lived in Echo Park bungalows. McCarthy, he called it Red Hill, and Sinclair yelled, "Oil!" Behold the lore of LA authors, behold. And Chandler and King were kings of writing noir detective novels on Lost Streets of Bunker Hill, where Fonte celebrates staircase firescapes and lost love. And long before Rodney King, there was the Zoot Suit riots. The LAPD and the Navy fools fought with the Pachucos in the Sleepy Lagoon, and Kerry McWilliams knew the deal. It was fire factories in the fields. The palm trees were swaying in the wind as the sunset begins. It's twilight on Franklin. And what makes Sammy run? Is it the architectural illusion? Hollywood tycoons in the American dream. Robinson Jeffers and Langston Hughes. If he hollers, let him go. Get your jazz on Central Avenue. And Ray Bradbury wrote Martian Chronicles, and L. Ron Hubbard wrote science fiction into Scientology, and Charles Bukowski, staying in single room occupancies, wrote sublime poetry about the plight of the modern man with a beer can in his hands. And Venice beats off of Abbot Kinney, and every time I'm in Venice, Jim Morrison speaks to me, behold the lore of LA authors, behold, rocking like rockabilly car clubs. The Carpenters, the Beach Boys, Grease, disco, and roller skating. And singer-songwriters in Laurel Canyon like James Taylor and Joni Mitchell sang the real deal in the Hollywood Hills, basking above Babylon and hedonism before hippie folk maidens became pop rock musicians. And now we're rocking the Rainbow Room like Led Zeppelin, selling platinum. Radio Free Hollywood, Hotel California, the Doobie Brothers. Play that funky music, white boy. Behold the lore of LA authors, behold. And Bret Easton Ellis tells us about gilded youth snorting white rails, less than zero. Walter Mosley and Easy Rollins, The Devil in the Blue Dress and Little Richard, and Barry White grew up near Willowbrook, and Motown came out west with the Jacksons, and Lewis McAdams dug Miles, he wrote The Birth of the Cool. James Elroy kept L.A. confidential, The Black Dahlia to Gabriel Garcia Marquez magical realism, Hunter S. Thompson's new journalism, We're south of no north in the city of courts. Reeling in the years in the ecology of fear, Mike Davis and magical urbanism hit like Joan Didion's White Album. Thomas Pynchon to Luis Rodriguez. Thomas Pynchon to Luis Rodriguez. Thomas Pynchon to Luis Rodriguez, and now George to Ruben Martinez. Wanda Coleman, Exene Cervenka. Check out the LA Sound Selectors. Punk rock, pop, underground poets, urban planners, Klein, Soja, Jello, Biafra, Rollins, Ellen Mabey. Spoken word artists got trails blazing. Paul Evangelisti, John Thomas, Lawrence Lipton, and the Holy Barbarians. Stuart Perkoff, and words are raising roofs like Poetics, a mic and dim lights, beyond Baroque, and Ginsberg. He got naked, folks, so welcome to the West Coast Poetry and Jazz Festival. The truth is stranger than fiction. It's surreal living in these conditions. William Gibson, science fiction, cyberpunks on super expressways, ghetto bird copters every day. Hollywood loves the apocalypse. The coast is toast. Earthquakes, flash floods, El Nino, Armageddon, busted bridges. The waves are crashing on the edge of the continent. Is it the city in flames? Or is it another day in paradise? Is it sunshine or noir, Baywatch or Blade Runner? Stay tuned for another long, hot summer. Santa Ana warm winds keep blowing, the creative juices keep flowing, and the list of our LA authors keeps growing. LA authors are making music loud like Sunset Strip, rock and roll to soul. Doors, Van Halen, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, Ice Cube, NWA, Dr. Dre, Pharcyde, Snoop Dogg, Freestyle Fellowship, hip-hop, metal, bedroom producers, turntablists, and poets. Behold the lore of LA authors, behold the lore of LA authors, behold, behold, behold. Who's rocking the populace in the postmodern metropolis? LA authors. This next poem is titled Watts to Leimert Park. The first 4 poems are going to be a series. It's a literary history of Los Angeles. So here we go. No matter the conditions, South Central musicians jammed on the avenue. Community, family activism, they had to do it. Music is the heartbeat. Music is the heartbeat. Music is the heartbeat. The roads that grew from concrete. Surviving restrictive housing covenants. The LAPD, gangs, the Second World War. Nothing could stop the music. Respect to African-American artists and authors of Los Angeles, from Horace Tapscott to the Watts Writers Workshop, 103rd Street to Leimert Park, Billy Higgins to John Outerbridge, the spirit of community. Pan-African People's Orchestra, Ojenke, Quincy Troop, Kamau Daoud, Watts Prophets, A.K. Tony, K. Curtis Lau, Eric Priestley, Jane Cortez, Lula Washington. Generations of poets, generations of musicians. Back in the day, an archipelago of after-hour jam sessions stretched up and down Central Avenue, from Pico to Slauson. The sound of Los Angeles, Central Avenue, Western Watts, Crenshaw. They used to call it all South Central. Community artists passing the magic. Generations of poets, generations of musicians. The media paints a portrait of South Central that overlooks the people. Real people, not some exaggerated mythical evil. The mythical South Central is used by record and industry executives to sell a gangsta fantasy, when most of South Central is about family. Family. The warped fantasy makes greedy people money and it disrespects the community, while the artists of South Central are healers promoting unity. Unity. And Chester Himes, he was ahead of his time. He kicked wicked inside about the black man's mind. An Italian immigrant, Simon Roja, worked after work for 3 decades on the Watts Towers. Bottle caps, glass mosaics, tile work. The 3 towers are a ship. A half a block west is the Charles Mingus Music Center. Respect out to Watts' finest. Don Cherry, Mingus, Eric Dolphy, Big J McNeely, Lester Young, South Central Sound Champions, Roy Ayers, David Axelrod, Lou Rawls, Onette Coleman, Marilyn Murphy, Ruth Foreman, Janoine Adams, Amani Tolliver, Shonda Buchanan, Pam Ward, Clara Bryant, S. Pearl Sharp, Blackbird, Darkleaf, Jackie Robinson, Nat King Cole, Mixmaster Wolf, Wanda Coleman, and Watts Stacks. Isaac Hayes and Jesse Jackson and people chanting, I am somebody, I am somebody, I am somebody. You are somebody, we are somebody. South Central Los Angeles, talk to me. Living legends like Leon Mobley, S.O.1 Books and Ramses. Community is family. Craftsman Cottages in West Adams. Jefferson Park, Angeles Vista, Twilight on Slauson. West is west of Crenshaw. Chesterfield Square, Canterbury Knolls. Morningside Circle, Athens on a Hill. South of South Central, South Los Angeles, City of Angels. Music is the heartbeat. Pan-African People's Art Play in South Park. Now they call it the Barry White Recreation Center. They make magic there. Horace Tapscott passed the magic like Samuel Brown taught him at Jefferson High School. Knowledge is shared. Watts Learning Center, Ralph Bunch, Bunchy Carter, Flojo, Biddy Mason, Walter Mosley, Donald Bakir and Monster Cody, Charles Wright and the Watts 103rd Street Rhythm Band. Express yourself. The world listens. Listens. Fathers of Funk. Poetry pioneers, you gave a voice to the voiceless. From the Watts Writers Workshop to the World Stage, 5th Street Dicks, Babe and Ricky's Inn, Project Blowed, Freestyle Fellowship, Park Bench People, Micah 9 and Ben Caldwell. Emissaries called upon to heal Los Angeles children of chaos. And in the days of Pentecost, the artists of Watts and Leimert Park celebrate community, celebrate family. Generations of sounds, generations of voices. You gave a voice to the voiceless. Generations of poets, generations of musicians, branches of a dark tree. The chorus of community tells a story in paintings, poetry, and black music. A giant is awakened. Respect to the giants of South Central Los Angeles. You are kings of expression. Generations of poets, generations of musicians. You are kings of expression. A giant is awakened. Music is the heartbeat. Music is the heartbeat. Music is the heartbeat. Music is the heartbeat. This next poem is titled The Land of 1,000 Dances, and it's part 3 of the first 2 you've heard. And though it was settled in 1781 under Spanish rule, the first settlers of Los Angeles were Mexicans, mestizos, people of mixed ancestry, and 26 of the 44 original pobladores were also part African. The City of Angels has always been Afro-Latin, Mexican and African together since the beginning. Aztlan is America, America's Aztlan, and Los Angeles is the land of 1,000 dances. Most of the barrios in East LA are along the floodplain. Before the river was put in concrete, heavy rains would put the streets a few feet underwater. And the same is true in South Central. They used to call Watts Mudtown. Put the poor people down in the floodplain and keep the wealthy in the hills. Watts to East Los, crossing the 6th Street Bridge, listening to Cisco Kid. It's a thin line between love and hate. Why can't we be friends? Don't listen to the television. Television talks about division. And besides, everybody kicks it to Wilson Pickett. Forget the differences. Music is the bridge. Generations of car clubs are cruising to the same radio stations, underground bootlegs, love songs and ballads, Art LeBeau, Lowriders Oldies Show, Dua, Pachuco, Pompadours, Corridos, Johnny Otis, El Chicano, Brown Brothers of Soul, War, Santana, and Tower of Power. All-day music. Bailado La Bumbo, Whittier Boulevard, Do the Slauson. The East Side sound comes from R&B soul. Sam Cooke and Nat King Cole. East LA garage bands flipped the script and started their own twist with the Chicano soul movement. Huggy Boy was East Side Casey Kasem. The scene multiplied after Richie Valens died. Valens was a Leviathan. He was born Richard Valenzuela in Pacoima. He rocked international by 19, and generations of local musicians followed his footsteps. East Side kings like Cannibal and the Headhunters, the Midnighters, the Carlos Brothers, Ruben Govera, Ruben and the Jets, Rampart Records, Village Callers, Brothers of Soul, Tierra, Ernie Perez, Sabor! Brotherhood is a message. Black and brown unity together since the beginning. Music is the bridge. What's up, rockers? Punk rock Chicanos carry on a legacy of generations of homegrown music. Lonely, lonely nights. Low riding in Lincoln Heights all the way to Aliso Village. Lorena, Under the Bridge. The El Monte Legion Stadium. Hollenbeck Park. City Terrace. Mariachi Plaza. Tire shops. Taco trucks. Que onda, güero? Olympic, Atlantic Soto, El Sereno, the Sears Tower and General Hospital. East LA goes a long way like his cousin South Central. And Anthony Quinn was born Anthony Quinones. He grew up in Boyle Heights. He was Mexican even if he played Zorba the Greek. And mobster Mickey Cohn grew up in Boyle Heights. It was also Japanese and Jewish. And that's why Brooklyn Avenue is now named after Cesar Chavez. And several Buddhist temples are still in the mix like the Risho Kosakai. An original Cholo lettering dating back to the Roaring Twenties was LA's first graffiti. The muralists from La Raza are LA art pioneers like Chaz, Gronk, and Eloy Torres. Self-help graphics. The Chicano movement of art and soul looms large in LA lore, historic like Central Avenue, Laurel Canyon, surf music, Venice Beats, the punk scene. Generations of local musicians are putting it down. Here's one for the East Side Sound. The Brighter Side of Darkness, Soul Communicators, Jackie Wilson and the Drifters, The Dramatics, Stylistics, Johnny Guitar Watson, Crystal Blue Persuasion, Joe Baton, the Afro-Filipino. Just an ordinary guy telling it like it is. Don't listen to the television. Television talks about division. We are one people. And forget the differences. Music is the bridge. Generations of car clubs are cruising to the same radio stations, underground bootlegs. And forget the differences. Music is the bridge. Build the bridge, lay down the bricks, fill in the ridges, stack the sticks, feed the fire, consider the cost. Take it up higher, the city is ours. LA! Forget the differences. Los Angeles is a land of 1,000 dances. The next poem is titled L.A. Noir. L.A. Noir is the other side of sunshine. Crime novels, A Century of Scandal, O.J. Simpson to Fatty Arbuckle, Charlie Chaplin to Phil Spector, The Black Dahlia to the Hillside Strangler, The Night Stalker and Charles Manson, Celebrity Mansions in Coldwater Canyon, Mickey Cohn's Haberdashery, The Doors Live at the Whiskey, Take a Left on Doheny, Unsolved Mysteries like Who Shot Biggie, Robert Downey Jr. and Charlie Sheen celebrate hedonism's program like Lindsay Lohan. Ike Turner was an old man still doing cocaine. Some hate the player, some hate the game. Southern California seldom rains. It's a landscape of broken dreams and everything is not what it seems. Where have you gone, Rita Hayworth? America's first cover girl. Divorced from Orson Welles. Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows. Literary alcoholics like F. Scott Fitzgerald came to Hollywood for the paycheck. Faulkner and Hemingway drank at Musso and Frank's, and basking in B-movies and Ida Lupino. The Outsider under Red-Lit Rain, and Dashiell Hammett wrote The Maltese Falcon, and James M. Cain began his reign with The Postman Always Wins Twice. Lucky Luciano in The Sunset Trocadero. Look at Dolores Del Rio on La Brea. Celluloid Myth and Screen Legends. Gloria Swanson in Sunset Boulevard. Somebody tell Cecil B. DeMille I'm ready for my close-up. From William S. Hart to Humphrey Bogart, Belushi OD'd at the Chateau Marmont. The Hollywood 10 became defendants. McCarthy frightened the country. Fear ruled the Cold War. Radicals became scapegoats. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The City of Industry in Chinatown. Conspiracy theories abound and most of them are true. Marilyn Monroe's ghost haunts the Hollywood Roosevelt where the first Oscars were held. Now they're held in a shopping mall. Everybody's got something to sell. Drop the velvet curtains and roll out the red carpet. The Hollywood myth started with strawberry fields. The dirt road called Prospect Avenue grew into Hollywood Boulevard. Technicolor marquees and bright lights. Fans line up on premiere nights. Tabloids publish cat fights. Dolby got the naming rights. And Hollywood is a lot prettier at night. Bards born under Bogart like Suzanne Lummis, Laurel Ann Bogan, and Michael C. Ford created the poem Noir. Welcome to Beverly Hills, El Rancho Rodeo de las Aguas, the gathering of the waters. La Cienega began swamplands, cactus gardens and landscape architects, rows of palm trees and eucalyptus, purple flowers on jacarandas, towering gates on west side mansions, and Mae West said, take fountain. Restrictive housing covenants impose social distance. The struggle for existence causes people to go for broke. Hollywood is a city of hope. Songs of innocence become experience. Dime detectives, dangerous dames, dead bodies, and late-night games. LA's criminal underworld dates back to the legend of Zorro. Offshore gambling ships owned by Bugsy Siegel. A blanket of lights. The hills are on fire. The city of night seduced by desire. Screams heard from afar. An empty drink in a quiet bar. A lonely ride in a busted car. Night in the city is L.A. Noir. Those 4 poems were about L.A. literature. And the next poem, this next poem is called The 562. I was born in Long Beach, so this is my poem about Long Beach. The 562 is a nexus, a suburban-urban cross-section, a small-town big city, affluent yet gritty, The 562 is somewhere between Hollywood and Irvine, Santa Monica and Anaheim. The 562 is a good time because its people are down to earth, blessed by birth to be born, where the vibes are warm. Catch that cool ocean breeze blowing in from the beach. And the clouds, they come from the south as the coast winds around the peninsula of Palos Verdes. The temperature is perfect. This land was once marshlands and willow thickets, intercepted by the LA River, but now surfers and grandparents kick it. The 562 is all-American multicultural, folks from Iowa to Cambodia, El Salvador to Ethiopia, aviation Okies in the aerospace industry, and denizens of Long Beach groove to Snoop Dogg and Sublime, garage rock and freestyle rhyme, and on the streets of Long Beach you can find oil and Signal Hill. Broadway's alternative lifestyles, art in the East Village, downtown lofts, and rockabilly chillers. And how many poly players are in the NFL? From JoJo's to the Prospector, Cohiba to the Blue Cafe, drinking sangria on a hot day, the barflies cruise from the 49er to Belmont Shore, Ferns to the V-Room, and private parties used to get loose at the Spruce Goose. The 562 is a window into the future with lots of history. Like the powerful earthquake of '33, the Pike used to be the place to be. And can we salute Cameron Diaz and a flavorful family? Respect to Lakewood, Cerritos, Bellflower, Norwalk, Cudahy, Southgate, Compton, to damn near Bell Gardens. Not to be confused with the 310. This is the 562 in the middle of SoCal, but its own little world. It's another beautiful day in El Dorado Park, in the place of my birth and in the home of my heart. This is the 562. But the next poem I'm going to do, this is a poem called Dancing Times. Los Angeles club culture is burning like a firecracker. People are loving the euphoria. Sweat is pouring. People bouncing. Ladies' scent lingers on body movement. Nothing matters but the music. People are losing their sorrows. Dancing till tomorrow. Strobe lights sparkle over the ghetto glamorous all-stars. Educated partiers, Renaissance artists, turntablists, word sages, actors, graphic designers, musicians, dancers, poets, promoters. Crews of club kids are in the multicultural mix. It's like fried chicken and chopsticks. It's that Los Angeles hot-ish. Who's got it in the postmodern metropolis? We rockin' the populace. People are dancing. These are dancing times. And people are dancing while the music blasts. Ladies move fast. Boom, crash in a flash. Club culture is a crazy spectacle, and everyone is dressed to kill in shiny material. Hip-hops, dreadlocks, tank tops, sweaty bras. Skin showing off is hot. You got every race, gays, straights, multicolors, metal eyelashes, transvestites, transsexuals, and all the beautiful people. While strobe light visuals shining for sensual stimulation, the DJ is playing sound creations, and the new generation is finding salvation by dancing. These are dancing times. I know you wanna move, so let yourself move to the groove. We stepping out tonight, so you got to do things that soothe. Move! Alright, the next poem I'm going to do is a new one. And I'm going to just read it right off the book here. Okay. I grew up in Los Angeles during the time of the riots. A city of love, a city of violence. Suburban homes are seldom quiet. Overworked parents, teenagers defiant. I grew up in Los Angeles where latchkey kids handled their business. Look over your shoulder and don't be a target. A city of song, a city of sorrow. I grew up in Los Angeles watching Laker championships, Magic Johnson, Shaq, and Kobe Bryant. A city of love, a city of violence. Magic visited patients at Daniel Freeman Hospital. One of them was my grandfather in 1984. My grandparents grew up in Los Angeles during the Depression and Zoot Suit riots. A city of compassion, a city of smashing. I grew up in Los Angeles where sand-drawn lawns defined the times of April 29, 1992. I grew up with a bridge-building crew, aware of the chaos but focused on the payoff. A city of fire, a city of desire. My parents grew up in Los Angeles in the age of Elvis and Eisenhower, surf safari, endless summer. A city of memory, a city of mystery. I grew up in Los Angeles with 3 generations of family, navigating the landscape to make way for me. I grew up in Los Angeles in the age of Reagan, crack, and AIDS. A city of clubs, a city of drugs. Freshman adventures at UCLA began in 1992. Out of the ashes of the uprising came the new. A city of beauty, a city of duty. I grew up in Los Angeles building unity through art, music, and poetry. connecting communities with the word, a city of curves, a city of verbs. I grew up in Los Angeles building bridges, forming coalitions, a city of visions, a city of decisions, a city of maps, a city of traps, a city of machines, a city of dreams, a city of tracks, a city of facts, a city of beaches, a city of teachers, a city of dodgers, a city of fathers, a city of working mothers, a city of broke lovers. I grew up in Los Angeles in the age of each other, a city to know, a city discovered. I grew up in Los Angeles during the time of the riots, a city of love, a city of violence. This is my new poem titled Arrival Stories. If you listen, they will tell you. I was born in Vancouver, which is a beautiful city. We came from Paraguay in South America. I was born in Seoul, Korea. We lived there until I was 5. We packed up everything into our Toyota Corolla. I drove cross country and went across Oklahoma and Texas. I really came to LA by way of Las Vegas. I often think of LA as a big circus. Man, I am constantly tripping on this city. My grandparents helped build Little Italy. Their story is also tied up with Pasadena. My father was this young kid from Oregon. His first job was in a nursery. I loved instantly the casualness of outdoor living and passion for sports. Back then, the barn had a creek running by it. They came in about 1911. He opened a barbershop on North Broadway, a couple blocks south of New Chinatown. My mother would always tell me stories about Japanese occupation. Grandpa Duval was a car salesman. My family's of Indian heritage. I went to East LA College, studied Spanish, French, and English. My dad spent a lot of time at the YMCA. I studied interdisciplinary studies at Cal State LA. My parents were born in Kenya, as was I. I worked in a laboratory at UCLA. They also lived in South LA at 89th and Vermont. My mother was in a biker gang in Colorado. She came out from Kansas City for $5. Los Angeles is a dream. The pace is slower. 24 blind teenagers from the Los Angeles Junior Blind League taught me how to read the city. You have the Traverse Ranges that end with San Gorgonio and go west all the way out to the ocean. And the Peninsula Ranges end with San Jacinto and go all the way down to Mexico. And it was a night of instrumental hip-hop and freehand drawing, but I usually just danced all night. In spite of having grown up in antagonistic political systems, we had a compatible sense of ethics. We took 19 days crossing the Pacific. So why should we hold grudges? Our final port of call was San Francisco. There was a lot of optimism and hope. It was the age of Aquarius around the world. We took Echolot to see Totoro the Egyptian. I was born in San Fernando, the San Fernando and Trinidad, not the Valley. I mean, there we were in a tropical paradise. Our weekends were filled with trips to the beach. There were Afghan refugees and live musicians. People would go across the canyons, guys and girls. And there was a sense of community because you had long hair. Maybe you had a guitar, rabab, harmana, tabla, Afghan ghazal singers, 100 cousins of every single religion and nationality. When they spin, they expel their egos and bring in the ecstasy of the source creation. I would go to Barnesdale Park and sit on the grassy hilltop. I'd have to make runs all over town almost every day, usually in various degrees of heavy traffic. I mastered the art of not hitting the brakes on the freeways of LA. I became a maestro of the slow crawl. I fell in love. I was wooed by the weather. I walk in the canyons and climb the local hills. I look out to the Channel Islands and see a ship on the water. The common denominator is people come to LA to make a life for themselves. It's like being on the yellow brick road. It's wonderful. You can really leave the past behind. I made a determination to turn the physics of hip-hop into a workbook. Memories become fables. Families immortalized and mythologized for their survival, reborn upon arrival. And I am alive in Los Angeles. 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 I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles here in the wild, wild west. And as the warm wind hits my face, I walk across stained concrete. I cry tears of joy on Flower Street. I watch families dancing on their porches on Christmas Eve. I smile widely. And as I move through the city, my heart beats swiftly as sirens speed by me. I revel in the sadness. My soul is deep. I take full responsibility. Give me everything. It hurts. It's so beautiful. We got this universal, soulful, multicultural, emerging worldwide tribe people. I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles. And I'm alive in Los Angeles where there are more angles than isosceles. Citywide topographies undulate across massive landscape. We move from chain link to palatial gates into separate economic states with rising birth rates. Below hilltops and the streetscapes, one can barely even equivocate these fluctuations in rent that are so evident all across from block to block to block to block to block. Extravagance and adversity interlock. Palatial spots, crosswalks, burrito shops. Housekeepers are hanging out at bus stops, and the country club is all walled off, and the city's blowing up like a Molotov. And even when I'm in the shower, I'm hearing the horn song. I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles. And whether I'm listening to Miles Davis or electronic music, I'm moving through the traffic, loving the inner city dynamics. There is mid-city magic, from happiness to tragic, adversity to extravagance, like seeing Korean grandparents moving slowly. While the Catholic school children crossing fearlessly, I saw a stray dog that looked like Spuds McKenzie by the Belmont Tunnel on 2nd Street, live and direct in the Rampart District. And I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles. And the neon crowns glow above the city of angels. Haze hovers after another nuclear sunset. I love it all. I'm alive in Los Angeles. I'm alive in Los Angeles. Build the bridge, lay down the bricks, fill in the ridges, stack the sticks, feed the fire, consider the cost. Take it up higher, the city is ours. L.A. I am alive in Los Angeles. Density. Density entwines webs of parallel existence, and parallel webs of existence mix thick in the dense mosaic, and endless characters coexist on the long list. Students, socialists, tourists, fundamentalists, sadomasochists, actresses, pimps, press agents, company presidents. Lesbians are burning incense. There's endless residents. Screenwriters, fly-by-nighters, gamblers, grifters, so many scene shifters, hustlers, housewives, shoplifters, quick cash seekers, judicial readers, attendants are checking parking meters, bums are drinking liters, old men are wearing wife beaters. These are the comical leaders of urban fable, sharing the air in the beautiful built environment we call Los Angeles. Density entwines webs of parallel existence, thick in the heart of the inner city. From Westside Wood Rats to old folks crossing Fairfax, you got the drive-through check cash, the lakeside spatial mismatch. Making Culver Green crossbacks, the multicultural people mass keeps inching along urban arteries into inner city density. Inner city density. Inner city density is congesting mid-city karaoke's around Alvarado fake IDs. It's 39 cents at Mickey D's, and the bus bench is fronting Frosty's freeze. I'm seeing Washington Socrates bicycling by on a creek into Venice Beach. This is density. Density entwines webs of parallel existence thick in the heart of the inner city. Bouncing back, Banana Bungalow, Pigeon Point Pescadero. Achieving archipelagos past the Palisade Fern grottos as the panoramic fronds of palms are calming Tom Collins, whose sunset strip sipping as the neon super semiotics is punctuating the power of place in this distinctive social space you call your own home, while we decipher diction in the landscape vernacular. Density entwines webs of parallel existence thick in the heart of the inner city. Density entwines webs of parallel existence thick in the heart of the inner city, bringing you back in the dense mosaic. Density, 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 density. This is a very short poem. This is in honor of a young man who recently passed named Austin Peralta, who was an amazing young pianist. And he recently died. This is my tribute poem to him. Very short poem. Endless planets encapsulate Austin Peralta. Noble odes to love unleashed. Delirious fits of keys transform lotus-minded light-sound science. Everlasting underwater mountain odyssey. Sequences synthesize chords and riffs. Supernatural epilogue of eternal greatness. Prodigy pianist Peralta peaked early. Learned eternal language of harmony. Art Blakey's Renaissance bubbles. Never-ending. Prestidigitation meditations. Endless planets into the infinite. Timeless sonic landscapes of music. Sing forevermore for Austin Peralta. And that poem is titled Endless Planets, and the poem actually is an acrostic poem where it spells endless planets down the side of the page. And I have one more really short poem about that same length, and should be perfect. This poem is about architecture, okay? Here we go. Who is to say what architecture is? Citizens, historians, or the critics? See it for yourself or read the theorists. Drive a truck like Mike Davis. Fortress architecture is geopolitics. Who's to say what architecture is? SciArc or Architectural Digest? Frank Lloyd Wright or Le Corbusier? See it for yourself or read the theorists. Frank Gehry is a deconstructivist. The Bilbao effect attracts tourists. Who's to say what architecture is? Louis Sullivan's function of ornament? Jewel box banks and steel skyscrapers. See it for yourself or read the theorists. City knowledge comes from reconnaissance. Walk the streets like Jane Jacobs. Who's to say what architecture is? See it for yourself or read the theorists. LA!